Good morning, friends. Hope you're doing well today. It is Monday. It was quite the weekend. So when last I spoke with you, I had just lost 3 chickens overnight. Hi, babies. To what I thought at the time was a raccoon. I've since learned different. So later that day, I was working inside. We had all our windows open because it was a nice day. And I heard massive ruckus out here in the chicken yard. So I came running out, and there was a bobcat in the run. It had just killed one of my barred rocks, and it killed Wanda right when I saw it. So because I was trying to save the final 4 from being killed by the bobcat, I actually went into the run with it, which is a stupid idea, but I wasn't thinking. So I blocked off the 4 that were still alive behind me, and the bobcat was desperate to get out. He or she, I don't know if it was male or female, but dropped the chicken that it had and was trying to get out, but it couldn't find an access point to get out. And looked awful. I mean, this bobcat broke my heart. And I know that sounds crazy because it killed 5 of my 9 birds, but it was ragged and, mangy looking and couldn't open its eyes all the way, and it was panicked because it was trying to get out. It was just sad all the way around. So, and of course, at the moment, I did not have my phone on me. So I literally was standing in the run with this bobcat trying to escape, and the chickens behind me, and I was screaming Mike's name to the front of the house, hoping he would hear me. Thankfully, he did. He came out, and we coaxed the chickens into the garden, and the kids came out to help. I know, baby, I hear ya. We kept watch on them in here, and they had a good old time. Like, they've never been allowed in the garden before, so they had a really good time running around and scratching and eating bugs and all that kind of stuff while we disassembled the top of the run. Sorry, I heard an animal in there, and I was like, maybe that bobcat's still. So first we cut a big hole in the netting, and the bobcat was finally able to escape, but it spent the rest of the day hanging out right here in the creek bed. It was waiting because it didn't know that I had gotten rid of the 2 chickens that it just killed. It was probably waiting to try to come back and get its kill. So we took the whole top off. We went and bought a whole bunch of wood, and it took 2 days to do it, though. We reconstructed the entire top of the run, and now it is solid. So overnight I was able to lock them into their coop. That thing nothing can get into, so I knew they'd be safe overnight, but I was still stressed. It's been stressful. So I only have 4 chickens left. Flo survived. She does have a little nick out of her beak, but it seems like it's okay. Francine ends up being the one who alerts everybody to everything. And then I have 1 barred rock and my cuckoo Moran left. So I have actually already signed up for 4 fall chicks. I am going to hand raise them like I did these guys, and then slowly introduce them over the course of a period of weeks before the cold weather sets in. Then we'll be back up to 8. And I think that'll help because these 4 now are, chickens are flock animals. They do better in bigger numbers. And they've been at night, instead of being on the roosting bars, they get in the nesting boxes and they huddle together. So they're still stressed. And, so anyway, I've been spending lots of time with them when we were out here rebuilding the run. We were here for the entire day with them, and I think they really appreciated that. They spent the day making lots of cooing and happy noises to have humans with them. So I'll show you what we did, and then I'm going to go in and give them some treats. Okay, it may look janky, but it's actually much more solid than previously. I just had some sticks that were, kind of attached haphazardly, and I had bird netting across the top, and that's had a huge slice in it when I found it, when I was taking it off, and that's how the bobcat had gotten in. So all of this chicken wire is secured with wood staples to all of the wood, and we even tried putting lots of weight on top, and it doesn't even bow. So it's secure. Now I do need to add a 2x4 here, because this space right here is plenty big for a raccoon to get into if it wanted to. Generally, we don't see raccoons during the day, and at night my chickens are Fort Knoxed into their coop. But I just want to eliminate all possibilities, so I'm going to do that. But it's kind of nice because now the door opens freely and easily, and you know, we checked everything, made sure all of the run was secure. So, you know, I feel as good as I can feel. And again, not mad at the bobcat. Bobcat was just trying to live, trying to survive. So let's go in. I got to check for eggs, and I want to give them some Grubbly Farms treats. So they're enjoying a little mealworm treat. Also, the last couple days, it's been very, very hot in the upper 90s. So I rigged up this shade cloth for them, and they actually have been loving it. They spend the day under there. Without it, they're in direct sun until like the late afternoon. They can get some shade underneath the coop, but it gets hotter over here when the sun is baking down on it. So this has been really nice for them. And then what we do is we have blocks of ice in the fridge, in the freezer. I put a block of ice in their water, and then I also put a block of ice in this tray back here. I'll dump that out, and they actually will stand in the icy water, and it cools them right down. You'll see they stop. At first they might be panting, and they go stand in that icy water and they stop panting. So it really does help. It's supposed to be 94 degrees Fahrenheit today, but this overcast is saving us. It's so great. I think it's still 78 right now, and there's a light breeze. Oh, it's wonderful. So this morning I got up super early and went out to the farm because I knew it was gonna be hot today, and I did all the harvesting. We've got Sweet Annie here as a filler, and we've got this random bucket here of dahlias and zinnias, snapdragons and agastaki, and then status, and just loads of sunflowers. So many sunflowers. So it'll be some interesting bouquets this week. This week begins the first week of my fall CSA session, which is only 6 weeks long. So, a lot of fall flowers, which is great. Zinnias, sunflowers, dahlias are starting to come on, so all of that. Okay, before we get started on the projects for today, I just want to show you how amazingly the bees cleaned off these frames. They look outstanding. So all the honey's gone. All that's left is the pollen and beeswax and stuff. So this is what's going to get scraped off so that I can start rendering it down into the beeswax. And then these frames will be reusable again. But I'm so happy. I'm so pleased to see this. They did an amazing job. It looks like brand new foundation. They took all the honey back. Also wanted to show you that the seedlings that we planted on the 7th have already started coming up. So these are going to need to go in the garden, not right away. Obviously they have some more time, but we'll be putting those out soon too. And then look at this limelight hydrangea. So I normally harvest these for bouquets, but I think I'm going to dry them this year to use in my dried flowers stuff because I have enough, flowers right now. I never realized that these have a scent. They smell so beautifully floral. Oh, it's just lovely. And then here's more over here. So this is the limelight variety. Big heads on these, and when they dry, as they age, they get this beautiful pinkish green color. It's just gorgeous. So, and they make a really nice dried flower. So I think that's what I'm going to do with these guys this time. And then I'll cut them all back when I cut them off. And it'll look like sticks, but then it'll come back thick and lush again next year. And one more hydrangea. I know I keep getting distracted. I'm like doing the whole squirrel thing today. So these are the Fire Island hydrangeas. They are deep red when they come out, and then as you can see when they age, they take on a pinkish quality, and if they get much more aged, they turn this really cool like antique rose green. I love them. Again, another wonderful dried flower. Now this is a different species. This is Hydrangea macrophylla. These you don't want to cut down to the ground every year because they will not rebloom for you. So you only take the blooms. I'll only cut down the stems that have a bloom on them currently. The rest of these will be giving me flowers next year. So I don't want to take those. So I'm only going to cut back the stems that have flowers on them. Now these guys bloom on new wood, and that's why you can cut the whole entire shrub back to like 8 inches, and you'll get blooms every year because they bloom on new wood. Okay, we are finally going to get around to cleaning up these 2 containers. So there's an identical one right here. In these containers, we have a lavender here, and then all of this was violas. It's dead, needs to come out, and to replace it, I have these convolvulus. Well, if I can get a hold of one, they're pretty dried out right now, but these have blue flowers, so they'll be a nice complement to the lavender. Now I'm going to cut the lavender back because I don't want this to get woody. And if you let lavender just go, it will get really woody. So I'm just gathering it up like this, like a big ponytail, and I'm cutting it back. Now when you're cutting back lavender, you don't want to cut into the wood itself. Let's say you've got a really old, tall stand of lavender and you want to refresh it. If you cut down into that wood, that's kind of it. You're not going to get beautiful regrowth. That only happens if you cut into the green part. So I'm going to go on and pull out these viola remains. Mostly the reason they're all cooked is that they just got missed watering a couple times. For the most part, they did well this year. All right, so now we are left with, that's a little bit of lavender that's broken off and it's dead down here. So I'm not going to try to repot that. All right, so now we have some soil, but it is really dry in here, which lavender doesn't mind, but lots of other plants do. So I'm going to soak this once I pot these guys in with a bunch of water and add some new potting soil to give them a little bit of nutrition. This would be a lot better if, I see they're also root bound, if I hadn't let them sit for a week. That's what happens when you have a crisis. Things don't get done. All right, I'm just gonna pop these around. They are very, very dry, so they're gonna need a deep soaking. Pop these around in a circle. Well, that one's super root bound. And then they definitely need some potting soil here. Not only to top up this pot, but also to give them a little bit of nutrition. Who knows how long they've been in those 6-packs at the nursery, and even before that, when they were at their home greenhouse. Okay, and then once I deeply water this in, it's only going to take a day or two. They're going to bounce back very quickly and start to look really good and start to put out some flowers. So already that looks better. Definitely an improvement. So get this stuff out of the way. That will go in the green bin. Put the pot back and let's give it a deep soaking. I basically just gave it a gallon of water. All right, next, exact same thing for this guy. And then we'll put all of this stuff into the green bin. Now to clean up and move on to the next project. Project number 3 is to put 2 of these, they're Aragonium, but we call them red buckwheat. See that? Really pretty. These are a native Californian species. I have 2 of them here. I'm gonna pop them in my pollinator bed. They draw butterflies and bees and even hummingbirds. So all the great pollinators to the garden. And again, it's a native plant. So try to plant native plants wherever you can in your landscape because they will always be beneficial for you. Still on the topic of lavender, these lavender are pretty much done. They still smell good, but all the fresh flowers are gone. So I want to give this a haircut. Probably won't get a second flush this year, but it'll be all set up come spring. These stems are nice and long, so I will be saving these. They can make good dried flowers, but I also have found that they tend to shatter, meaning the flower just kind of falls apart very easily. So do the best you can. That smells amazing. Now I have a number of other lavenders here that also need to be cut back. These guys, the flowers are long dead. I'm gonna cut these back so they get nice and bushy for next year. But those have a few more days. The bees are still lighting on them, so I'm gonna give them a little bit more time. Okay, I'm gonna go have some lunch. I made a very big pot of vegetable soup from the garden last night for dinner. So I'll have some lunch and then we're gonna go do some planting in the cottage garden. Okay, lunch has been eaten. Actually took way longer than I should have, but that's okay. Still loving this overcast. It is 84 degrees Fahrenheit, but no direct sun, and it was supposed to be 94 degrees Fahrenheit today, so just so much loving this overcast day. It's very much appreciated. Anyway, next project. This is something that I've been needing to do for months since we redid this bed around the house in the backyard. So let me show you. Okay, so we, pulled up everything here, and we had a bunch of horrible shrubs that were in here. We pulled everything up. Gosh, look at these tomatoes, how crazy they're going. That's very fun. Anyway, and then planted here. Like I said before, the sunflowers will come out, as will, the yarrow will get cut back. And this crazy amaranth that literally was just deposited by a bird because I didn't plant it there. All of that will get cut, well, the amaranth will go away, but the sunflowers will get cut back all the way to the ground. And then what we're left with is what you see here is we have Weigela in the back. We'll have some yarrow that will be cut down for the year, lavender, which I'll also cut back, and then we have this beautiful ground mat of, there's a variety of things in here, but some of this is creeping thyme. So what I need to do over here is pull up the weeds, and now I have creeping thyme that I'm going to add in, and I also need to plant this jasmine here. And I was going to put it on a trellis, but the trellis I got was just way too short. So I can always install a trellis later, but I'm going to have to be careful where I dig, because as you can see, there are valves for our sprinkler system there. So I'll just have to be careful where I dig, but all of this will go in, and then this way, all of this under here will fill in with creeping thyme, and it will be a lot better than having weeds. More planting in the cottage garden. So I have a 6-pack of Dalmatian series foxglove here. Now some of these other little tiny seedlings that you see are foxglove as well, but they're so small they'll take a couple of years. And so foxglove is a biennial. So planting this now should mean I'll get some spring spikes off of these. And then over here I have a trio of verbascum. This variety is wedding candle, and you can see how pretty that flower is. They generally flower most of the season, but you know, they're brand new in here, so after that flower spike fades, I don't expect anything else until spring. And then down here, so much cleanup to do in this bed. Down here I put in another 6-pack dotted around here of Dalmatian foxglove. Now they get very tall here, so I definitely wanted them in the back of the border. I learned my lesson having them in the front when I first started this. And then so this is a mess. Obviously needs a lot of pruning and cleaning, but I wanted to show you this dahlia. Isn't she so pretty? And look, as she ages, the petals come together. Isn't that so cool? Now, I did not plant that dahlia. I believe that dahlia popped up from seed. So it's kind of fun because I don't know, you know, generally dahlias from seed don't really prescribe to a variety because they crossbreed so easily. So it's just fun to see that little guy there. And these pots, although not nearly as like lush as I had wanted them to be, they are finally growing. This is cardinal flowers, so we'll actually have a bloom here at some point. So I'll save the August. Actually, I'll probably do an August garden tour later this week because oh, here's one. That's what it looks like. That's really cute, huh? So I'll do an August garden tour later this week because we're already into the middle of August. My youngest goes back to school tomorrow. He's starting his junior year. Just got his schedule and everything today. And then my oldest heads off to college mid-September. So kind of crazy. One more flower I want to show you before we go start making bouquets. I planted this limelight hydrangea last year. It sent up a couple flower spikes. Look how tall this one is. But look how enormous and just gorgeous that flower is. Oh, and it's already starting to put on some of that pinkish tint I was talking about when they age.
My hair on the open road, my tank is full in a drinking hand, choosing gratitude is high free.
Okay, done for today. I love the combination of the sunflowers with the zinnias and statice. Oh, I just think it's so pretty. These bouquets are really packed, so I think the customers are going to be really happy. And then I had enough sunflowers left over for 2 gift bouquets. There's this one here, and I need to get rid of these flowers. These leaves. So this sunflower bouquet here, and then this one here, which is huge. So I will gift those. Normally I would sell all those stems, but I don't currently. Currently the upload for what's available isn't till Thursday, and these won't still be good on Thursday. So they're just gonna get given away. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I'm very excited to go take a shower because even though it's not that hot today, it's very humid, so I'm really sweaty. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.